So welcome everybody. Welcome back to another Samurai Reviews movie review video. We are your hosts. We have Brett and Josh. Today we will be reviewing
Dr. Sleep.
Dr. Night Night. Before we get into a review video, make sure you check us out at Samurai Reviews 0. That's where we do all of our postings, letting you know when our YouTube videos are up. Go follow that on Instagram. Also, please go hit that subscribe button down below. It helps us a ton. By doing so, we can continue giving you this entertaining and critically analyzed input of these movie reviews that most movie review channels don't have.
They don't.
Try me. Try us.
Yeah, at us.
At us.
So we can get noticed.
So we would also like to make it so that we have more opportunity to kind of involve you guys as fans. So make sure you comment down below and share with other movie lovers as well. Last thing, this movie review was brought to you by Cuzzy Cam Production. You can check out their website down in the link below. If you've seen our last review video with Terminator, what number was it? It was like
756.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah,
755.
Oh, my bad.
No, it's 56.
It's 56.
It's 56.
Yeah, there was like that point, like
Yes,
1.5
it was
or something like that.
755 and a half.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so if you've seen that movie review video, we're kind of mixing it up. We're kind of doing something different with our review videos, where we're just going to post our non-spoilers first, and then later on during the week we'll post our kind of discussion spoiler part of it later on. Oh, you want me to go first?
Movie review jutsu. Go.
Rating for Dr. Sleep. For me, Dr. Sleep, going into Dr. Sleep from the non-spoiler review, rating wise for me is a 5.5. I enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed Hobbs and Shaw. Totally two completely different genres of movies, but had some of the same characteristics of those two movies. Acting is the same. It's an average acting kind of based movie where nobody really kind of stood out to me. It's like, oh wow, this person did an amazing performance or an acting job, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or Jojo Rabbit or that kind of stuff. So it's just an average acting, just as much as Hobbs and Shaw. And cinematography wise, I like some of the compositions in the shot. Some of the times it really felt old fashioned, but kind of done in a better way. But it doesn't really scream out as an award winning movie, cinematography wise. Visually, that's probably the only good point that I have, is visually it was very pretty. Shots, like the locations. I like the color in the movie. It fit the tone of the movie. It had more of a bluish tint to it, and it kind of made you feel cold, like a colder feel to it.
Definitely set the emotions.
Yeah, which makes sense because it's kind of like this mid-horror, like suspenseful movie and stuff, and it kind of dealt with people's kind of shinings and monsters going after them and, feeding off those. Being that said, like that's probably the only good quality of the movie that I really enjoyed. Cinematography, the visuals, composition, that kind of stuff. If they did storyboarding on this movie, like great job. Mm-hmm. You put a lot of thought into like the visual side of things. For movies, if you're focusing on one thing like too much, you kind of lack another thing, and that's my next point, is the story. So the story is a big thing for the both of us. We kind of mentioned that a lot. You need to have the story, and writing, it could have been better. And what I mean by that is just that it could have done with a lot less dialogue. It wasn't necessary to those scenes, and if you're focusing on visuals, you could just show the audience kind of what's going on instead of just saying what's going on in the scene. And it kind of follows that a lot. It does that a lot, and it's just they just really dumb it down by putting in those like
exposition,
yeah.
and they're very It's not something that you needed to know. It's something that helps, and the scenes never feel like they're like, oh, that was pointless, but it just feels like, did I need that?
Yeah.
Did I need that understanding?
Right. And then what I have is like they really dumbed it down for the audience, which I don't feel like was necessary, but it was kind of like, oh yeah, I already know, like just move on, or just sarcastic, like, wait, what? Like, no way, it's just annoying. So, right, yeah, like I said, writing could have been better. I always forget to mention this, but audio, soundtrack, sound effects for movies are always important. This movie itself was okay. It wasn't anything original. Heartbeat sounds, orchestra, like the organ, like, piano organ, whatever it is.
Very, very similar to The Shining.
Yeah, so that's the thing.
Obviously the same universe.
I started making fun of it towards the end. Yeah. If other words for it, it was kind of over excessive, which goes to my next point, is that just all of these callbacks and all the scenes from the first movie, like the flashbacks of like the first movie and stuff, just was over excessive.
Yeah. If you're feeling like you need to like refresh on the first movie going into this, you don't, because they do that for you, and it's not welcomed. It's like, I get it.
Yeah, you can cut down a lot of that, which just means that, like if you have half of the movie of the first one in this movie, you don't have a story. You don't have a good story. And you're basically just using all the old original materials and just making something,
showing it again.
It's just showing it again. Yeah. So you're basically watching The Shining kind of all over again, is what I felt like. Yeah, being that said, it's not an original movie. It tries to be, but it's not. And that's kind of what brought it down a lot for me, including all those other points that I mentioned with acting and writing, sound effects, and that kind of stuff. So 5.5.
All right. Yep. My rating on this is different. But I have a lot of very, very similar points. So my rating's a 7, but it's a very, very reluctant 7. I was thinking more 6.5, just because of the lazy exposition and the reuse of, I wouldn't say reuse, because they kind of redid them with like different actors and stuff, but it's the same scenes that you've seen from The Shining. So there's definitely a stretch in this movie where it feels like they're just like, remember how good of a movie The Shining was? Which isn't why I'm here. I'll watch The Shining if I want to. Show me something new. And that really made me want to drop it. Kind of that point that I drop for remakes like Aladdin and Lion King and stuff. Right, where I take a point up automatically because it's the same story. You didn't do anything creative. You just took something that was good before and just did it again. But I'm not going to, because I did enjoy the more original parts of this movie. And I just want to put that little asterisk on the end that it was close, but I didn't do that. But 7. Anyways, so going into my review of it it's obviously a continuation of the Shining universe. It's a continuation of Danny, the kid from The Shining, and he's grown up and he's dealing with PTSD from that movie and stuff like that. And I kind of got like a superhero mixed with Inception kind of vibe from this movie. And I kind of dug it. And I was actually very
I felt more of like a Sixth Sense kind of thing.
But I was very interested in the kind of universe they're setting up, and it seemed interesting to me, and then it just kind of got shallow throughout the rest of the movie. So Obi-Wan Kenobi is dope. Like, I really enjoy Obi-Wan Kenobi's character. I'm going to call him Obi-Wan the whole time, so get ready for that. Ewan McGregor is his name, if you want to look it up. But he's really interesting. The way they set up his character. But like we talked about in yours, the exposition explaining his character arc is very shallow, and while it's there and while it is interesting, it's shallow, and it kind of it lacks the depth that is there. So that's kind of unfortunate. Rebecca Ferguson, I thought did an excellent job as the villain in this. She's like Rose the Hat, I believe her name is in this. I really enjoyed her. She had a little bit of a consistency issue at the end, which we'll get to in the spoilers. But other than that, I thought she was very well done. Her motivations were very clear and precise, and I enjoyed watching her side of the story. Her side, not the people around her.
Oh, okay.
Side. Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense now.
So obviously she's in a cult, and that's kind of where it gets a little chalky. Like, you don't care about a lot of the people in the cult that I think they want you to care about. Again, the self-pleasuring is what I called it, when they just are like, remember The Shining? I think that is the biggest negative coming out of this movie. And I think it's extra negative just because we've seen it a lot recently, and we continue to see it. And it's a breath of fresh air when you get a movie like Jojo Rabbit, and you're like, oh, this is totally new. Or yeah, even Harriet, it's nice, and it just kind of like, when you go from those and you see this, it's very jolting, and that's why I'm trying not to just like drop it because of that, because I did enjoy this movie. So if you like The Shining, there's a lot of familiar elements that are still creative in this movie that I think it does well with. I did like the soundtrack. I did like the ambiance that it set up. I thought all those things were really well done, that were like paid homage without being just, look at how great we were.
They play the same tricks in the sound effects that they do with all horror movies.
Yeah, it was very tropey, and
that's why I said it wasn't. It was just, it's not original. It's just over excessive because it's been done from other horror movies.
A lot of this movie is on the edge of original or is on the edge of paying respect to the previous movie and just being the previous movie. And I would agree with you. I think it leans a little towards being the previous movie, but the original parts were interesting enough to keep me engaged. I think they casted very well. I thought the daughter was a really good character, Abra. Yeah, and she had some cool moments. Lastly, and one of the things I noticed was it was very jolty in terms of pace. A lot of their scenes are really, really short
and quick.
Yeah, in one setting, and it'll be what we were talking about earlier, where it's one thing, and it's like I guess it helps to know that, but I didn't need to know that. And none of the scenes are like empty, but a lot of them are shallow, and that's where it kind of, the balance is a little tough to judge there. But yeah, it has a lot of the classic transitions, familiar cinematography. If you really enjoyed Shining, I think this is a very good continuation of that. But yeah, so I gave it a 7.
Terminator.
Yeah, it's not
79.
Yeah, it's not just like them repeating lines over and over again from other Terminator movies. No, but so that's why I give it a 7, just because it's not. It could have been so much. It's a better sequel worse,
rather than.
Yeah, and just keep in mind that it has those moments, and it's not okay. Mm-hmm. But trying to look at just the original content, I did enjoy it. So 7 with an asterisk, an extra one.
That comes out to a Samurai review of 6.3. It is an over average movie. Mm-hmm. 6.3 is a pretty good score, I feel like.
Yeah.
And it's a movie, I would say, go watch it. I wouldn't be opposed.
Yeah. Specifically for like retro horror fans or just straight up Shining fans. I think that's a very good one to see. If you're just looking for a good movie, again, there are better things out there. It's not bad. Yeah, you won't go out of it being like, oh, that was a waste of time. I don't think. I think most people would.
I enjoyed it for the sense. Yeah. That's why it was, for me, it's just a little bit above average movie. So I wanted to give it a 6, but just looking back at it, it was really fencing, like what you said. It was really borderline.
Yeah, it toes the line throughout the whole movie. And yeah, I'm going to try and give it the benefit of the doubt because I feel like I've been harsh lately. So
Thank you guys for watching our non-spoiler review of Dr. Night Night. And check us out on our next review video, which will be our discussion spoiler part of Dr. Sleep. And
keep track of our progress with these reviews by following us on Instagram.
go away.
Shoo.
Shoot.
Shoo. Shoo. Hashtag Curtis.